This is Jake with Miller Made Customs. Today we're going to be pulling the carbs and rebuilding them on the V45. See if we can have a running bike. Go from there. Play nice. Play nice. My advice when cleaning carburetors is to take your time. Don't get in a hurry. Remember where all the little parts go. There's a bunch of them. If springs go flying, you're generally in rough shape. Try and keep the springs from flying. If they do go flying, try and find them. Two little springs right here on the Sabre and the Magna carbs that are very important. And when you take them apart, if you don't take them out before you pull the carbs, they go in between these two tabs right here and right there. This is your throttle for this carb. This is the throttle for this carb. So you can adjust them. They call it sequencing. And if that spring comes out, then this carburetor does that and the bike will never run right. So that is your throttle blade. See how that one moves with that one? This one attaches right there. So when that spring is gone, this butterfly can do that, and your bike will idle high, idle low, like it'll be sporadic all over the place. It'll never run how it should. If you lose those springs when you're taking them apart, you kind of have to order them or go to your local shop and try and find something little. These two carbs are hooked together right here. They have a bar, so these ones are dialed in with this screw, but that spring can't come out when you take it apart. So when you do this, these ones move, and that gives these springs a chance to go flying. What I like to do is reach in with needle noses or a pick and pull the spring out before I even start pulling the carbs. I'll get the top of the plenum off so I can reach down and pull them out before I even try and take the carbs off. I don't got to worry about them going anywhere. I do not remember where I put the wrench. Go away, Rain. My truck's clean-ish, kind of. Stole my Rockstar. Seen that.
No,
You think you're so sneaky, but I seen it. Rockstar. Normally I do this different and go through and take the cotter pins out so I can just pull these little routes, because this is the two choke levers for these two carbs. It goes down in the side of the carb. Same on all four of them. So you got a rod that connects these two. You got a rod through the center that connects these two. And then you got a rod over here that connects these two. So when you're starting the bike, it won't start. You push your choke lever, it moves all these and opens the choke in the carburetor. Same concept as the throttle linkage, but with your choke linkage. Normally when I do this, I pull the cotter pins and leave the tabs on the carb. But fortunately for me, I've been doing enough of these carburetors lately that I remember how it all goes together. I feel comfortable doing it this way and not losing my mind when I'm trying to put it back together. Biggest mistakes really are just not getting them clean, not finding all the circuits. Like I screwed up on the Suzuki Thursday. I got them all together, got them on the bike, and it wouldn't idle. And I didn't take the time to go through the idle circuit the way that, I knew better. I knew I should have done it different, but I didn't. And I was like, it'll work, it'll clear itself out. And they don't. There's something plugged, and it's been plugged for a lot of years. I mean, the old varnished up fuel in a jet or a circuit turns into concrete. Like it won't move. You're thinking like, I'll run injector cleaner through it or carb cleaner through the fuel, and it'll eventually blow itself out. You'll have a bike that runs like shit for weeks on end because they're so little. Everything can plug up so easily that they don't. Play nice. These are the feed tubes that break, and these ones did not, which is awesome because that means I don't have to order any tubes. I can put it all back together and we can have a running bike. That's good news, because when those break, it's always a bummer because you're like, yeah, I'm going to get my bike running. And then your tube breaks and you go, oh, I can't get my bike running. It just bums you out when you're doing stuff like this, because if you're anything like me, you just bought it, you're really excited, you want to hear it run, and then something like that happens and you don't get the fun part of getting to hear it run. But if all goes like it should today, we will get to hear this bike run. They put the little cotter pin by the little screws. Very easily broken. Kind of a pain in the butt to replace when you need to. Take throttle linkage out. After this, we'll get into some fuel bowls. All the slides are stuck but one. So, the bike, when I started it on starting fluid, you could tell it wasn't running how it should. But it run on all four bores. That was my main concern, is buying a used bike and having one cylinder hurt. You lost the bike at that point. You got to pull the motor, rebuild it, then you're thousands of dollars into what you're doing. Just at a bushing, that's what you're not supposed to do, is let little parts go fly. Yeah, see, I preach so much in the videos, and then there it is right there. Little part. Wow, that is a way better design than the other bike. That's nice. No, so that's your throttle blade on these old carbs, CV carbs. That opens when you twist the throttle, but this slide right here is what changes your fuel and your air mixture throughout the RPMs and opens and closes. So that one, you can see, stuck, which means even if we would have put fuel to the bike and the jets were clean, it wouldn't have run. See how that moves? That's what it's supposed to do. You open the throttle here, it creates a vacuum in the cap up here and pulls that up. Opens your main jet, raises your needle, and gives you full throttle. You can see through the carburetor, does everything it's supposed to. But you'll open your throttle, so you got that wide open, and you can see down in there if the slide is stuck, it won't go up like it should. That will stay down, and you'll get a bike that bogs really hard, doesn't do what, it just won't rev up. It'll come up a few hundred RPM, maybe even a couple thousand. It won't sound right. It'll just wah. It sounds terrible when it does that. Now, set carburetors aside and start tearing them apart and getting into cleaning process. Getting it so I can pull that little plug out. Down in that hole. That is your air fuel mixture screw. That is for idle. Idle only. Air fuel mixture screws only do it at an idle. Just being a real pain in the butt. Goodness gracious. Broke my needle nose. Let's get one more tool. That was at work. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Mutilating a carb here. This is not what I wanted to do. It's just an aluminum knock-in plug.
Do you have another one that you'll replace it with?
No, I leave them out. Yeah.
Why do you leave them?
Because I always change exhaust and stuff like that. So I have to, like after I rejet them, I have to reset the air fuel. And you have to do that with the bike together. It's not what I wanted to end up doing to the side of this carburetor. Normally, once you get a hole in them, you can hook them. Oh shit, I just broke the tip off my screwdriver. That sucks. It's my last screwdriver. So we'll have to go buy some new ones before we can continue. That's a bummer. Damn. Alright. To the store. Yeah, I really didn't want to go buy screwdrivers, I can tell you that. That was not my plan for today. Just wanted to rebuild some carburetors and be done. Then yeah, screwdriver broke. So now I'm going to go to O'Reilly's and buy a new screwdriver. Because that sounds awesome. Yay! New screwdriver. No more broken screwdrivers. Now I can finish the carbs up. Hopefully fire a bike up here in the next hour or so. It's going to be awesome. Ah! Got the V45 together. Everything seems to be happy. It's a little smoky, which is a little nerve-wracking, but my other one blew smoke for a while and then it cleaned right up. So I'm hoping this one's the same. The warning light is on, so I got to figure out what that is for. So everything's happy. There, we'll get some fresh oil and filter in it and do everything I need to do. And then there's oil pressure ports I can tap into to check, make sure it's got oil pressure. I mean, I'm assuming it does, but we'll find out. Got a couple fuel leaks. I've got a leak out of petcock. Petcock. Got a leak out of that, and then I had one fuel bowl dripping, but the gaskets were pretty dry. The intention with this bike is to build what my other Sabre was. So, I mean, it's all coming right back apart anyway. This was just to get it running so my dad could ride it around the block or something like that. So,